can check it with Play-Doh. Put Play-Doh on the top of your piston and bring it up. Put your head down on there. Turn the motor by hand. Then you'll know how much Play-Doh you've used, and you can gauge it to know how much you can take off these heads. Easy little trick. Doesn't cost a lot of money. But to do these small upgrades is phenomenal. This is all the stock parts. Now the parts that I've showed you, the other parts, the new parts, is going into my new motor. Okay? And I'll bring that block up. And I'm going to show you this block. And you're going to think it's crazy. This block, I've had to cut out all of this for the roller lifters. This is decked. Put a bigger sleeve in it. Sleeve the motor. Now it gets tricky. This block is all welded up so it does not shoot the jug off of it. To reinforce it. Along with the reinforcement, this back here has been reinforced with this plate to keep from blowing the top half, the jugs, off of the motor. Reinforced down here, reinforced up here where my coils go. Same way with this side. It's all completely welded up, reinforced, drilled and tapped. Then you go to the inside of my block. For my new roller cam, we had to put a bearing in. So this has been all milled and machined out for the roller bearing. And if you take a look inside of here, you can see the new sleeves and the cylinders. And this was milled out. Roller bearing put in there. And I laugh about people throwing away these commands, but I don't know if you can see it, but the jug, you can see where it's ground out in there on the skirts where they generally notch out. You can sleeve, but I ground that all out on both sides for the clearance of the cam. But this motor here is being built for the National Quarter Scale indoor poles NQS. And it should be a pretty wicked build, and I will be bringing or inviting Polar Bear Ed in on this build if he's interested in this. We oversized the seal in this, and then here's the next secret. these ports right here, they are completely drilled all the way through. Both of these are drilled all the way through. And on your stock cover, it would be these. Bore them all the way through. Then you retap. You tap these. So you can screw in 90 degree. Put some small air cleaners on it so you can relieve the crank pressure off of this motor to let it breathe. And the motor will stay together. Just doing all this little bit of stuff makes a big difference when it comes to pulling. But a lot of people ain't going to let you in on that. They're going to keep that hush-hush. They don't want you to know. But me, if I can help a new guy out, don't be afraid to ask. I've done this a long time. And this one, once I get the rest of the parts in, we're going to put this one together. This will be a stock motor. Stock heads. But I'll show you the heads for my new motor, which is over here. And you can compare the heads for yourself. This is what I'm going to put on my motor. And you can do the comparisons yourself. That port is really small compared to my new motor. These ports are huge. Same way with this side. It all coincides. The more porting you can get done on your heads, but these are recast heads. These aren't stock heads. I have comp retainers. I have comp springs, double Chevy springs. And this is all machined out for the roller rocker. Or for the roller lifter, rather. But I will run roller rockers as my lifters, or as my rockers. Then you flip it over. I have a fire ring in these heads. And you can see the comparisons in the valves. This is going to be on a modified motor. This is a stock motor. But the horsepower comes out of these heads. The more work you can get in these heads, the better flow you can get. You're going to build horsepower. This is going to build a lot of horsepower. These are stock valves. I went with titanium valves, which are lighter. And I'm going to build more horsepower with way less effort. And the flow. Big difference. But back to what I said at the beginning of this, I don't care how much motor you can build. If you can't put it to the ground, you're in trouble. Because you're not going to succeed. They have to go hand in hand. So the gearing ratio and stuff, I can give you a starting point on gearing, but where you need to be for what you're wanting to do, that's upon you. So as we build, putting these motors together, I have two motors now that I have to build. This one and my other one, which my other one is an open modified. national quarter scale build to compete in the Pro V Twin class. I'll be running Pro this winter with that motor. This motor is going to go in my wife's tractor, stock motor, and build what we can. But for cheap horsepower, guys, go with a regrind cam. It's OEM, and it's perfectly legal in the tractor pulling sport. You come out there with a stock tractor, you can't compete. Even just a little bit of changing your lifters from hydraulic to solid with adjustable push tubes. Just little things like that, which these are all OEM parts. They can say you're cheating, they can say this, they can say that. Open it up. They're going to check the motor. Big deal. It is all OEM parts. The parts that I showed you for the other motor are not OEM. Those are national quarter scale rules that those parts are set up for. So, there you have it. So hopefully I can shed a little bit of light on anybody that wants to get into the tractor pulling. You got a little bit of work to do, but it's not bad. It's not that expensive to go OEM. Because if you look for a horizontal 30 horse crank, you will not find it. This crank actually comes out of the vertical shaft motors, 30 horse vertical. These come out of, you cannot get it. I have not been able to find it out of a horizontal. This is vertical, but it works in the horizontal block. Another secret. Same way with your cleanups on your blocks. 10, 20, 30. But at that 30 point, don't think you're out of room to run. You can get sleeves. The sleeves are $63 to sleeve these blocks.